Footnotes from the Life Application Study Bible. By this time, Jesus was extremely well known. Everyone coming to Jerusalem for the Passover festival had heard of him, and for a time, the popular mood was favorable toward him. "The Lord needs it," was all the disciples had to say, and the colt's owners gladly turned their animal over to them. Christians celebrate this event on Palm Sunday. The people lined the road, praising God, waving palm branches, and throwing their cloaks in front of the colt as it passed before them. "Long live the King" was the meaning behind their joyful shouts, because they knew that Jesus was intentionally fulfilling the prophecy in Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. "Look, your king is coming to you. He is righteous and victorious, yet he is humble, riding on a donkey's colt." To announce that he was indeed the Messiah, Jesus chose a time when all Israel would be gathered at Jerusalem, a place where huge crowds could see him, and a way of proclaiming his mission that was unmistakable. The people went wild. They were sure their liberation was at hand. The people who were praising God for giving them a king had the wrong idea about Jesus. They expected him to be a national leader who would restore their nation to its former glory. Thus, they were deaf to the words of their prophets and blind to Jesus' real mission. When people began to realize that Jesus was not going to fulfill the hopes they'd held, some turned against him. The Pharisees thought the crowd's words were sacrilegious and blasphemous. They didn't want someone challenging their power and authority, and they didn't want a revolt that would bring the Roman army down on them. So they asked Jesus to keep his people quiet. But Jesus said that if the people were to keep quiet, the stones would burst into cheers. Habakkuk had prophesied the judgment of God upon Judah just before the fall of Jerusalem to the Babylonians in 586 BC. He had said to that, "The very stones in the walls cry out against them concerning all the sins the people had committed in their rebellion against God." So Jesus' words may have a double meaning. Praise for the true Messiah could not be repressed, and the stones of the wall would bear witness to the city's rejection of him. The Jewish leaders had rejected their king. They had gone too far. They had refused God's offer of salvation in Jesus Christ when they were visited by God himself, and soon their nation would suffer. God did not turn away from the Jewish peoples who obeyed him. However, and he continues to offer salvation to the people he loves, both Jews and Gentiles. Eternal life is within your reach. Accept it while the opportunity is still offered. About 40 years after Jesus said these words, they came true. In AD 66, the Jews revolted against Roman control. 3 years later, Titus, son of the Emperor Vespasian, was sent to crush the rebellion. Roman soldiers attacked Jerusalem and broke through the northern wall, but still couldn't take the city. Finally, they laid siege to it, and in AD 70, they were able to enter the severely weakened city and burned it. 600,000 Jews were killed during Titus's onslaught.